Bomani Jones of ESPN was wearing a Cleveland Caucasian shirt on air, which caused a stir on Twitter, enough to make it trending. Not surprisingly, Jones was reportedly told to cover up the shirt after some at ESPN freaked out, according to TMZ. Jones appeared later on the program with his hoodie slightly zipped up, but people at home could still make out the logo. A few things here. First, a sportscaster is allowed to wear a hoodie at work? Clearly, I've got the wrong job, as even I show up to my own podcast triggered with a shirt and tie on. Although, that is the kind of hoodie that doesn't paint him in a negative stereotype of a thug, so I guess it's fine on ESPN. If I was ESPN, I'd be more mad about the hoodie than the hysterical shirt on underneath it. And let's talk about the shirt. Shelf Life Clothing, who makes the shirt, probably just got a huge payday from this. I hope Jones got paid for that promotion. The fact that people are offended at a shirt which is designed specifically in mind to point out the offensiveness of the original logo is more irony than even Alanis Morissette can handle, although nothing in that song is actually ironic. It's just more unfortunate, but that's too long of a song title. ESPN has no problem displaying the Indians, Blackhawks, Redskins, and Braves, but Caucasians are out of line? Really? The term Caucasians aren't even that offensive. They could have easily went with Cleveland crackers with a picture of a saltine smeared with caviar for added sting and keeping the alliteration going. And of course the Indians' chief Wahoo logo is racist. It's a Native American head with a red face, which is a clear, subtle use of the term redskin, which is a derogatory term for a Native American, and mocking the feather in the cap, which according to Bob Roach of the American Indian Education Center is a ceremonial feather that is given to our warriors that have shed their own blood in battle. It's very spiritual, the eagle feather, so it's a mockery of our own religion, our own spirituality. And yes, there have been tons of protests by Native American groups and even petitions to the Cleveland Indians over their moniker by local tribes, which shuts down the idiotic argument of, why don't we ask the people depicted if it's racist or offensive? Defenders will say that they're paying homage to Native Americans by using their likeness as a nickname because it signifies the strength of their people, and the rationale behind nicknames in sports is to show dominance or instill fear. That line of thinking doesn't give their point credence. It actually undermines their intentions because it implies that Native Americans are just savages whom are to be feared or are simply just warriors and only fight, and that is offensive and racist in itself. And of course, Indians is a good nickname to inspire fear when an opponent looks at their schedule. In baseball, there aren't any Native Americans playing. It's mostly whites, blacks, and Latinos. So of course they're going to be intimidated by the savages that are Native Americans. Baseball players are not going to be intimidated by Caucasians unless that's followed by police officers if you're black, or Donald Trump if you're Latino. Think about some of the other sports. In hockey, it's all white guys, so Black Hawks both has black and Native Americans, and if you say it fast, it sounds like Black Cocks, which is something that even Hulk Hogan knows you should be afraid of. And it's the reason in basketball, where it's predominantly black, why the Washington team changed their name from the Bullets to the Wizards. Black people aren't afraid of bullets, obviously, but a wizard is a leader in the KKK, and of course that'll scare the shit out of them. Actually, now that I think about it, Caucasians are definitely a group to be fearful of. Look at this logo. Instead of a feather, it's got the dollar sign. Rich white people are something that everyone should be afraid of. Think about the political system in the U.S. regards to rich white people. How about businesses with their giant corruption? Banking, check. They're even the heads of sports organizations. Wait a second. The athletes should definitely fear rich white guys as they're profiting hand over fist on the backs of black and white athletes in the case of the NFL, while completely disregarding their health and safety when it comes to concussions. And the fans should also fear the rich white men in control of sports teams doing things like raising their cable bills to pay for a stupid network that just sucks the cock of the sports team in question and demands that Comcast pay huge programming increases. Yes. Oh, and of course there's the rich white guys that raise the ticket prices and think that, quote, members of the Legends Club might not feel comfortable with someone who has never sat in a premium location. So that's a frustration for our existing fan base. Yes, of course, rich people don't want poor people sitting next to them. The Cleveland Indians should definitely change their name to the Cleveland Caucasians. One, it's an alliteration, which is always good for a sports team. See Pittsburgh Penguins, Miami Marlins, and Seattle Supersonics. Never mind. Two, using a dollar sign in the logo isn't a negative stereotype. Oh no, white people make more money than everybody else. Now if they could somehow make the head give off the impression it doesn't know how to dance, that would be a different story. And three, they're the archetype that almost everyone can agree needs to be feared the most. You'll get Native American tribes off your back, and you can get tons of money in new merch sales because of the rebrand. Yes, I have to talk to people in terms of dollars and cents, because you know what them rich white folks say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Oh, and the only minor inconvenience is that ESPN won't be able to air the highlights of your games because they can't show your logo on TV, but that's okay. You could just charge Comcast an arm and a leg to transmit your team's channel and be done with it. Even more money for you guys. Win-win situation all around.